Hey everyone, this is going to be a short tutorial about how to create your portfolio on Behance as your final project for Intro to Engineering. This portfolio is going to go with you up to your senior year, and you can continue adding your different projects that you do for your classes to it. So I'm just going to walk you guys through how to create a new project, how to add your picture to it, and then how to add a short description underneath it. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to Behance.com and sign in. I made just a short test account so you guys can see how it should look towards the end. We are only going to add 3 projects to Behance for now. Later on, again, you guys will add more projects as you progress through high school. The first thing that we're going to do to start is find the Create a Project button at the top in blue and click that. So it loads the project editor, and you can see that it has 3 different steps: your content, your cover, and then your settings. The first thing that we want to do is add content. Your content is going to include pictures and a description of the project. Our first project is going to be the house that we built. We did a couple of things for that. We first created a default house, how Tinkercad asked us to, and then you guys created a custom house. So for this part of it, you're only going to be uploading the custom house to Behance. So we're going to start by clicking on Files, and you're going to navigate to the picture of your house. If you have multiple pictures, I recommend that you put those different views up just so people can get different perspectives of what you've built. So I put everything in a folder called Portfolio Sample, and I just used you guys' pictures that you uploaded, kind of stole them. But this is the first one that I'm going to add. It is just called House. I recommend you guys crop these pictures so you don't see this Chrome bar down here or the tabs on top, just so you can get a clean cut picture. You can always do this later on. If you don't know how to crop right now, that's fine. If you do know how, then I suggest getting a head start on that and just cropping the picture now. But I'm just going to use this one as a sample. So now it's going to upload the image to our project. And now that we have the image, we can start adding text underneath it to explain what this project was about. I recommend just going to Google Classroom and looking at the instructions that I wrote for you guys so you can explain something about the project. So if we go down to our Build a House, we can read that it had to have walls, a roof, an entrance, and windows. And then it had to have these requirements as well. And you are open to be as creative as you want. And you want to add a little twist that's your own. So for instance, I could write, for this project, we were asked to build a custom house in Tinkercad. This project was created for Introduction to Engineering in spring of 2020. The house had to include 4 walls, a roof, an entrance. You can always go back and check. And windows. Then you want to add your personal flair. I decided to create a patio facade in front of the house with 2 pillars holding up the roof. I also decided to add a fence to the outside of my building for added aesthetic. It doesn't have to be too long. It can be just a short paragraph about your house, and this would be enough. If I have different angles of the house, I definitely want to add those too, just so people can get a different view of your project. So now that I've finished adding a description to it, I can move on to the next step. To do so, we just have to click continue at the top right. And now it's going to ask us to create a cover image which people will see if they go on your profile. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so people can just see the house and move it so that it just focused right there. And it does ask you to also give your project a title. So we can call this Introduction to Engineering Build a House. And then we can click crop and continue. Now it asks for creative fields, tools, co-owners, and copyrights. So for creative fields, we're going to choose certain things that relate to it, such as architecture. I can just keep scrolling through and looking at other fields that are related. Engineering, of course. Everything else is essentially more artistic, so we're just going to stick with those two, architecture and engineering, and then click done. For our tools, we are just going to type in Tinkercad. Make sure you do spell that correctly, and then click Add Tinkercad. For category, we're going to just click Online Applications and click Done. You don't actually have a co-owner. You created this on your own. So we are going to move on to the Display tab. For my display, I'm going to change this and make it everyone. And then click Done. And then discoverability. This part is really important because this is going to allow me to see your projects. So what you're going to have to do is add a team. So click on Add under Teams, and you're just going to search SHS, and you're immediately going to see SHS Engineering and Design Pathway. I want you to click on this one, and you know that it's the correct one because it has our logo on it. So SHS Engineering and Design Pathway. You'll notice also that it says I haven't verified my email, and to publish a project, we are going to have to verify it. I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. So when you're in your email, it is important to note that that verification email probably fell into spam or some other category. So I recommend going to this left side. It's probably going to look like this. So you just want to click on More and then go to All Mail. And then find that please verify your email address from Behance, and then just click to verify. Then once it's been verified, you can just close the tab. It'll still have this up here, but you verified your email, so it'll figure it out eventually. So you also want to add a short project description under the discoverability tab. You can, if you want to, just copy paste what you wrote here. I'm just going to add a really, really short one. This project was created for Introduction to Engineering at Sure High School. It is a custom house built in a 3D modeling program called Tinkercad. You can add tags if you want people to be able to search your project. So we can add engineering. So when you're adding these tags, you just want to separate them by commas. Sure High School. Again, you don't have to add these, just if you want to. You don't have to add a school or anything like that. This is pretty much it. The basic info, display, and discoverability, and then we'll click publish. So now it'll show you this preview of how the project looks on your portfolio. Now, if I go back to my profile, you'll see that it's showing this project. So this is how we add a project to our Behance portfolio. You are going to add a total of 3 projects, which is going to include this house, your custom space station, and the architectural piece that you created in Minecraft. You don't have to include reference images for your Minecraft piece. You just have to include what you created. And again, I recommend uploading a couple of different pictures from a few different angles so people can see exactly how much work you put into this. This is it for your portfolio tutorial. I wish you all the best of luck and have a fantastic week.